Now we are going to see the concept of drying and ignition of precipitate. Drying and ignition of precipitate. What is drying? Drying is heating of precipitate below 250 degrees Celsius. 250 degree Celsius. The purpose of drying is and ignition of the precipitate is to obtain a compound of known constant composition. Constant composition. See, if any substance is there and that is in the wet form, ola hai to, if that is wet and if you want to dry that substance and you want a pure substance, so you need to dry it, okay, so that whatever water molecule may be present in that substance, all water molecule will get evaporated, or you can evaporate other solvents also by drying at a 250 degree Celsius. Okay, generally drying is carried out at the 100 to 110 degrees Celsius to remove the water molecules. Okay, so as to get you the dry product, okay, or the pure product. But when the water is occluded, we need to heat that substance up to 150 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that it will be free of a single water molecule also. Okay, now we'll see what is incineration. Incineration. The precipitate is heated at the temperature of 250 degrees Celsius to 1200 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is what the incineration. It will not only remove the water but also convert your substance or precipitate into another compound, okay, and it will be carried out if the precipitated form does not possess fixed composition. Whatever precipitate you have, if there is composition is not fixed, you need to heat that further up to 1200 degrees Celsius so that it converted to the compound of fixed composition. Okay, likewise, see, most of the hydroxides are to be incinerated, and that hydroxides are get converted into the corresponding oxides. Okay, if ignition or the incineration is done to convert the precipitate into another compound, then following information we need to know. We must know regarding this, right? The temperature at which the conversion is possible to complete, and the temperature up to which new compound is going to form, and that is stable. Okay, so what are the applications of gravimetric analysis? Now this is very important. So far we have studied what is gravimetric analysis and all that, but whether the gravimetric analysis is applicable in our day-to-day life, these are the general application. Apart from this, few more applications are there where this gravimetric analysis technique is used. See, determination of sulfur in any or from the any organic compound. You can find out the sulfur from any organic compound. Now, how you can find out sulfur from any organic compound? What we are going to do? We are going to use a Carius method for that purpose. Okay, Carius method for that purpose. What is the principle? The sulfur present in any organic compound is oxidized with the help of sulfuric acid. Okay, you are going to digest that with the fuming nitric acid. Okay, and sulfuric acid so form is then quantitatively you are converting whatever sulfur is there in the organic compound, that is now oxidized into which acid? That is oxidized to the sulfuric acid. But how it is done? You are hitting that substance in which sulfur is present with the nitric acid. Now, by hitting with the nitric acid, the sulfur present in the precipitate is converted to the sulfuric acid. Now, that sulfuric acid form is then quantitatively precipitated as the barium sulfate. How? By the addition of barium chloride to that substance. Okay. The precipitate of barium sulfate is suitably treated and weighed. How you are doing this process? See, if you have any organic compound, okay, you are hitting that with the nitric acid, okay, and you are using for that a sealed tube, that is a Carius tube. तुम्ही त्या Carius tube मध्ये heating करतायत त्या organic substance in presence of nitric acid for 2 hours. आणि काय होणार आहे मग आता त्या सल्फरचं कन्व्हर्जन कशात होणार आहे सल्फ्युरिक ऍसिड मध्ये होणार आहे in the carrier tube. Okay, and you are adding, okay, you are adding barium chloride to that, so there will be the formation of barium sulfate. The precipitated barium sulfate is filtrated, cooled, filtrated, washed, dried and weighed. त्याचं वजन घेतल्यानंतर ते किती असणार आहे समजा ऑर्गॅनिक सबस्टन्स तुमच्याकडे होता, its weight was W1 gram. Then whatever barium sulfate formed, its mass was W2 gram. Okay, so as you know that one barium sulfate contains one sulfur atom. Okay, so 1 mole of barium sulfate contains 1 mole of sulfur element or atom. Okay, 1 mole of sulfur. So 1 molar mass of barium sulfate is equal to how much atomic mass of sulfur. So this is what the molar mass of barium sulfate, and this is atomic mass of sulfur. Getting my point? So by doing cross multiplication all, so mass of sulfur in W2 gram of barium sulfate is equal to, so that barium sulfate mass into 32 upon molar mass of barium sulfate, you will get the W3. That is what the weight of sulfur which is present over where, that is present in the barium sulfate, that is present in the barium sulfate. Okay, now so percentage sulfur in a compound can be calculated as, now this weight of a sulfur present in the barium sulfate upon weight of organic substance into 100, by which you can easily find out the percentage of sulfur present in the organic substance. Okay, now next is the estimation of nickel from the copper nickel alloy. Estimation of nickel from the copper nickel alloy using dimethyl glyoxime. The separation of nickel from the copper in the nickel copper alloy, okay, is a good example of specificity in the precipitation gravimetry. It's a good example of specificity in the precipitation gravimetry. The amount of nickel can be determined by precipitation with dimethyl glyoxime. You are going to precipitate nickel using dimethyl glyoxime from a slight ammoniacal solution. Okay, and whatever precipitate will be there in the ammoniacal solution, what will happen? So you have to filter it, you have to dry it, you have to weigh that one. Okay, and how you will remove the copper from the solution? So in the beaker, treat the weighed amount of alloy with the concentrated nitric acid. काय करताय तुम्ही? नाइट्रिक ऍसिड बरोबर काय करणार आहे, तो alloy हीट करायचा आहे. Okay, till the alloy is get dissolved. Okay, and the sample is nearly reduced to the dryness. पूर्ण कोरडा होईपर्यंत तो काय करायचा आहे, तुम्हाला हीट करायचा आहे, कॉन्स्टंटली हीट करायचा आहे नाइट्रिक ऍसिड बरोबर. कोण? तुमचा alloy. The extract with the what we are going to do, we are going to add a dilute sulfuric acid to that beaker and we are going to extract that. Okay, so transferred to the standard flask, all that solution transferred to the standard flask. Okay, and make volume up to the mark. Okay, now take out a definite amount of solution and pass the hydrogen sulfide gas from it. त्याच्यातून काय करायचं, व्हॉल्यूमेट्रिक फ्लास्क मधून समजा 10 ml त्या ठिकाणी तुम्ही हे काढलेलं आहे, ते सोल्युशन काढलेलं आहे. ओके, जे की कशात डायल्यूट केलेलं आहे, सल्फ्युरिक ऍसिड मध्ये डायल्यूट केलेलं आहे. आणि त्याच्यात काय आहे, अलॉय आहे. जे अलॉय मध्ये काय आहे, कॉपर आणि निकेल इज देयर. ओके, सो व्हाट यू डिड, यू आर पासिंग sulfide gas from it. Okay, so sufficient enough to precipitate the copper 2+ ion as a copper sulfate and filtrate all the solution. Whatever so filtrate will come down, that will contain now your nickel. There will be the presence of nickel. Okay, now how you are going to estimate it? So whatever filtrate is there, heat the solution about 70 to 80 degrees Celsius to ensure that all H2S has been removed, and then add what we are going to add, 20 ml 1% इथेनॉलिक सोल्यूशन ऑफ डायमिथिल ग्लायक्साइड. किती ml टाकताय? 20 ml टाकताय. कशामध्ये? जे तुम्ही पिपेट आउट करून घेतलं होतं ना 10 ml अबोव सोल्युशन मधून, ते पिपेटने काढून घ्यायचं आहे. ओके, आणि त्याच्यामध्ये हे सोल्युशन टाकायचं आहे. ओके, टाकल्यानंतर फॉलो बाय ऍडिंग द डायल्यूट अमोनिया विथ द कॉन्स्टंट स्टरिंग अंटिल द स्मेल ऑफ अमोनिया परसिस्ट. मीन्स व्हॉट, की त्याचा पीएच बेसिक करायचा आहे. टोटली काय करायचं आहे? बेसिक करायचा आहे. ओके, and digest for about 20 minutes. You are heating that for the 20 minutes on water bath till the precipitate of the nickel with the dimethyl glyoxime is precipitated. Okay, now whatever precipitate is formed, you have to filter it through the weighed gauge crucible. Okay, now wash it with the cold water. Wash that with the cold water until it will get free from the chloride ion. Dry that precipitate in the oven at 110 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. Now cool in the desiccator and weigh the substance. Now what will happen? See here. Weight of gauge crucible that you reported as a W1. त्याचं वजन करून घ्यायचं आहे गौज क्रुसिबलचं सुरुवातीला. ओके, त्याच्यानंतर काय करायचं आहे? त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही हा कॉम्प्लेक्स ठेवतायत. कोणता? निकेल डीएमजी कॉम्प्लेक्स ठेवतायत. त्याचं वजन झालं W2 ग्राम. मग W2 मधून W1 मायनस केला की फक्त तुम्हाला कसलं वेट मिळणार आहे? यू विल गेट द वेट ऑफ ओनली निकेल डीएमजी कॉम्प्लेक्स. ओके, सो निकेल डीएमजी कॉम्प्लेक्स, इन a one nickel DMG complex only one nickel atom is present. So 288 in a 288 gram, almost 288.69 gram of nickel DMG complex. How much nickel is present? It's a 48.69 gram. So you can find out what is the weight of nickel present in a nickel DMG complex. Okay, so W3 is the weight of your nickel DMG complex into weight, molar mass, atomic mass of nickel upon molar mass of nickel DMG complex. You will get the weight of nickel which is present in the DMG complex. Okay, now what you have to do? You have to find out the percentage. Okay, so W4 upon whatever your initial alloy was there, no? So you have to do and you multiply by the 100. You can see, knowing the weight of copper nickel alloy taken, the volume made up to an exact volume taken for estimation. Okay, and from this is a simple. Okay, so you can find out the percentage of nickel. Okay, this only value you have to take over there and you can find out the percentage very easily, as like the percentage of sulfur, है ना. व्हॉल्यूम या ठिकाणी आपल्याला व्हॉल्यूम त्या ठिकाणी है ना एवढा तुमचा याच्यामध्ये आहे, किती एवढा ग्राम समजा निकेल तुमचा आलेला आहे आणि समजा तुम्ही 10 ml पिपेट आउट केलं होतं. किती ml पिपेट आउट केलं होतं? 10 ml पिपेट आउट केलं होतं आणि तुमचा व्हॉल्यूम समजा 100 ml असेल. एवढा तुमचा 10 साठी आहे तर 100 मध्ये किती है ना, 100 मध्ये किती, आणि त्याच्यावरून तुम्ही काय करू शकता? यू कॅन फाइंड आउट द percentage of that nickel present in the copper nickel alloy. Now this is the final determination of aluminium by converting it to its oxide. You are converting aluminium into its oxide and you are finding out the percentage. Now how the procedure we are going to carry out? See, you are going to pipette out a definite amount of acidified solution containing Al3 plus ion. Heat the solution for 2 to 3 minutes. Add 2 gram of ammonium chloride to that. Okay, stir the solution and then add 6 normal ammonia to it till the smell of ammonia persists. Okay, means you are making it basic gelatinous white precipitate of aluminum hydroxide will form over there. Okay, so digest that precipitate for shorter period of time. This is because the precipitate is being colloidal, is subjected to the co-precipitation error. Okay, the solution with the precipitate is filtered through the Whatman filter paper number 42. Okay, and now the 42 and tested for the complete precipitation. Okay, that we are going to confirm. The precipitate is then washed with what? The whatever precipitate you filtered, that filtration process I have shown you already in the previous lecture. Now, if you not come to know here, you go through the previous lecture. So you are washing that precipitate with the ammonium nitrate, 1% ammonium nitrate solution to prevent the peptization. The washing is done till the chloride ion are removed from this solution. The precipitate is then dried, ignited in previously weighed silica crucible. We are taking here silica crucible. Okay, for nickel it was Guj crucible. Here it's a silica crucible. Okay, after heating for about 20 minutes, the crucible with the content and lead is cooled in a desiccator and then weighed. The use of lead and the cooling in the desiccator is necessary because hygroscopic nature of aluminum oxide. Okay, if any water molecule is present in that desiccator, what will happen? It will quickly absorb that water and it will get converted to the hydroxide form. For that purpose, we need to keep the desiccator free of water molecules. Okay, so weight of silica crucible plus lead, that is W1 gram. Now you are pouring your aluminum oxide into it, its weight will become W2. So by making subtraction of these two, you are getting clear weight of aluminum oxide. Okay, so 1 mole of this contains 1 mole of this, 2 mole of this, and 1 mole of aluminum oxide contains 2 mole of alumina. Okay, aluminium. So what will happen? 102 gram of aluminum oxide contains 54 gram of aluminium. 54 gram of aluminium. So single aluminium atom. What is the weight of single aluminium atom? It's a 27 molar atomic mass. It's a 27, right? So W3 gram of aluminium oxide contains how much aluminium? It's a W4 gram of aluminium. So what you are doing? You are just doing multiplication. W3 gram of aluminium oxide into 54 gram of aluminium upon molar mass of aluminium oxide. You will get the answer for how much aluminium is present in this much gram of aluminium oxide. Okay, and you can find out the percentage by doing the cross multiplication and general calculation, which we are studying in the practicals, which we are doing in the practicals. Okay, so this practical is there for you, where you are going to find out the I think barium sulfate. Okay, barium sulfate, you are finding out there the sulfate over there. Okay, so this is how sulfur, you are finding out the sulfur in that practical. Okay, so this is what your last lecture. So thank you. So I think your syllabus is over. Your syllabus is over. If any query comes, any problem comes, you just raise your query. Okay, now afterward I'm going to start the revision of your all the topics. Okay, and along with that I am going to start a test series. Thank you.